Hi, parents. Today, I thought we could spend a few minutes together talking a little bit about things that you can do and say to encourage and initiate problem solving for your child as a reader or writer. It's Sunday morning and I'm just not camera ready, so I thought I'd put a picture of myself on this slide to let you know what I look like when I have done my hair. So, first off, it's really important when your child encounters a problem in text when they are reading or writing, the biggest thing that we can do is be by their side. But first off, just wait. Give it about 5 or 10 seconds before you jump in to help. And that can be really hard to wait that long. If your child instantly appeals for help, looks at you or, gets discouraged or says something like, I can't do it, or I'm stuck, something that you can say that's really simple is just to tell them to try it. You might want to say something like, how can you help yourself? And one thing that I often say when kids look at me or ask for help, I just say, well, what can you do? So sometimes I'll even just put a notebook down or a whiteboard and place it on the table before the reading session starts, or maybe the writing session, to encourage kids to give it a try. Writing down the word that they are stuck on is a really, really efficient and independent strategy for children to do. And sometimes I'll even just say, if a child gets stuck on a word and looks for help, I'll just say, write it. And oftentimes the act of taking their eyes away from the text to write the word helps a child with slowing down their decoding processes. So that might be an efficient strategy that you could try for your child as well. Some other things that you can say to encourage or initiate problem solving, again, is you could ask your child to say the word slowly. So you might just say, well, say it slowly. Think about the sounds that you hear. If they're writing, I often recommend that parents or teachers even provide children with a practice page, a place where they can practice writing words that might be tricky or word parts, and that before they put that into the page of text that they're actually writing on. Another thing that you can do is you can tell your child to slow check it. We do that at Washington in the Book Nook. We have kids run their finger underneath a word and take a really close look at the word. So slowing down that process is going to help them pay attention. If a child makes an error and they, are indicating that they might have a problem or they're not sure, they think they made a mistake, but they're not sure, something that you could say is check yourself, make sure you're right. The next prompt is look carefully at the parts in the word. And you could ask your child, are there any parts that you know? So we want kids to be making links between words that they know and words that they don't know. So let's say your child is reading and they come to the word stray in a book, which might be a little bit tricky for a child who struggles with consonant clusters. That STR might be hard. But that last part that says A, they might know the word play, so you might want to have them look for parts that they know. You could even use that whiteboard or notebook and you could write the word that they know. So you might write the word play and then talk about how they know the word play, and they can use that known word to help them read the unknown word. Something you can do is just tell them to try it again and think about what looks right and makes sense. If your child is reading a text, a lot of the times teachers or parents might say, look at the pictures. Well, I like to tell kids to think about the story, because eventually they're not going to be able to use the pictures to help them, because eventually we are reading texts that don't have pictures. So we always want to be thinking about what's happening in the story or the article that we're reading. So if your child gets stuck, you might just say, think about the story. What's happening now? What would make sense? If your child's writing and let's say they skip a word, you might want to say, read your writing again. Does it make sense? So we're constantly bringing the children back to the meaning that they're trying to portray and the message that they're writing. If your child gets stuck on a word and it's a word that they've seen at a different part of the text, and maybe they read it correctly on the page before, You might say, well, where else can you find that word? These are all prompts that are going to initiate problem solving on the part of the child. You're guiding them, but you're not doing the work for them. And I think that's really important for us as parents and educators to remind ourselves of. We always want the child to be the one who's doing the heavy lifting. We're going to be there to support them and guide them on the side, but they have to do the work. Anytime that your child makes attempts, we really want to praise their attempts for problem solving. And if they are efficient in their attempts and they get it right, we want to let them know you fixed up a mistake or something as simple as you made it match. Sometimes kids just need us to tell them to keep going. Um, Encouragement goes a long way. So we want to praise the actions that our children are showing us that are efficient in their problem solving and just encourage them all along the way. Now, parents, it's important for us though to know that every day is going to be different. Some days your child is going to have more energy for reading, they might have a little bit more confidence. And then there might be other days where they're tired or they're just not feeling as confident as readers and writers. And you might have to take over a little bit more on those days. That's okay. You know your child best. And we recommend, especially at this time, flexibility in your approaches to reading and writing. If your child's not feeling it or maybe they're not as motivated, it's totally fine for you to say, well, I'll read a page and then you read a page. Or even with their writing, if they're struggling and frustrated with getting started with writing, you can say, tell me your thoughts and I'll write down your ideas. So you getting them started is okay. As always, please reach out if you have any comments or questions and have fun reading.